If I think of John Edrich as I did, the first thing I ever thought of was strength. He was a strong guy, physically, big forearms, as we know, both physically and mentally. Everything about him was strength. Tremendous resilience, determination, and that was shown like throughout his career. We knew that he'd come from a farming family in Norfolk and part of the great Edrich family that all came up there. And it was only through Bill Edrich and Arthur McIntyre having a good relationship that I believe that he eventually came to Surrey here. And it was interesting that in those days, the first team nets were on one side of the oval and the second team nets were over the other side of the oval. And I was just finished batting and there was a little delay with our net. And Eric Bedser looked over and said, "Who's that batting that left hand? What's he doing?" And I said, "Yeah, he looks strange. Who's he then?" And Bernard Constable said, "I believe that's another Edrich. He may look funny, but he hasn't missed a bloody ball yet." And that was typical Bernie Constable there. And John so came on there on the staff. And you may be interested to know the way the players are looked at after today. That he'd never been to London before when he was coming down to attend. It was April the 15th or what have you. And he'd been told by somebody at the Oval it's best to come on the Saturday rather than arrive there on the Monday when everything started. He arrived there, asked the bloke at the station how to get to the Oval, put him on the tube, arrived at the Oval, nobody there except the guy who used to look after the money, I think, at the Oval there, one of the 5 people in the office. And he said, "I've come here." He said, "Well, where are you staying?" He said, "I haven't got anywhere to stay." And he finished up somewhere near Lewisham in a flat above a newsagent shop or something, sleeping on the sofa for the next 3 days. Anyway, as we know, he started at the Oval with a tremendous career there. And he played one match in the last of the 7 championship there before making his proper debut up at Trent Bridge, where he got 200s again, as we all know, at Trent Bridge. And it's interesting, isn't it, that in that match, which was really his debut match, he got 100 in each innings, and he went on from there, strength to strength. He finally got recognised by the England selectors, and funnily enough, his opening partner was me when we played against the West Indies in '63, and we fielded for 5 sessions before we opened the innings for England on the second day, on the last session there, and we held out until just before the end. John got out. But before that morning, the chairman of selectors was R.W.V. Robbins. And at 7 o'clock in the morning, John and I were sharing a room. He burst in, couldn't sleep a wink all night. He said, "Thinking of you poor buggers, going to open the innings against those 2, which is Wesell and Charlie Griffith." Anyway, but he said, "But don't worry, you both got 3 test matches." John got 0 on his birthday, the second test match at Lord's, and got left out, and then had to show tremendous form to get picked for the tour to India. Didn't play in the first test match, and I'm going through this now because it shows how determined he was that he was going to get there, and finally did. And to play 77 test matches, accumulate 5,000 runs, was something tremendous. And John was, in my book, I never played with a greater run scorer, because in 21 years he scored 40,000 runs, got 100 hundreds, and nearly 200 times in addition to that past 50. So when I was asked about who would I pick, if I had to pick somebody to bat and get 100 to save my children's lives, who would it be? I certainly named John Hugh Edrich. He was the greatest run scorer that I know, but I can tell you one thing, to finish on a note, he hated fielding. He could catch him at gully, but he hated fielding and getting ready. But it's been a pleasure to have said these few words about my old opening partner, John Edrich.